residents that are eager to create a home of their own and fearing their units will be hijacked before they move in have brought their own windows, doors and roofs to complete the project themselves. But the City of Cape Town's housing bosses say they're not on the proposed beneficiaries, and in fact, because of that, they're likely to be evicted. Natalie Malgas is following the story, and she joins us now live from that site. Natalie, it's a matter of housing once again in the City of Cape Town coming into the spotlight, and it's a bit difficult to try, chart what the way forward might look like for these people who are obviously desperate for houses, but may very well find themselves in the streets because of how they're approaching this.
A number of complications have arisen here in the Mau Mau settlement in Nyanga, Ayanda. So we heard that there are dozens of housing units as part of this particular project, and that forms part of a broader housing construction plan here in the city of Cape Town. But as you mentioned, we've seen some residents moving in after the project stalled somewhat for the last 2 or 3 years. They've moved in and started the construction themselves. They've bought their own roofs and other materials to finish up the project so that they can move in. We heard from officials that this was because they feared some of the units may be hijacked or handed over to others, and they, as the eligible beneficiaries, may lose out. But to get further detail about what exactly has transpired here and all of the related complications, I'm speaking to the Human Settlements MACO member here in the city, Malusi Boy. Thanks for your time, sir. What was the reason for the stall of this development?
Well, part of it has been the COVID regulations. As you would know, that we commenced this particular project around 2018, and in 2020 there was lockdown and we could not be able to do construction for a period of 2 years. But also we had some contractors post that period who were unable, because of financial constraints, were unable to complete some of these units. As you can see now, we have a contractor that is back on site, and we'll be adding more contractors, about 2 more contractors, that will enable us to quickly finish this project. Our target is to make sure that this project is completed this year, December.
So now that we have some yet to be finished units, we heard about residents who've moved in, brought their own materials, and created quite a conundrum for the contractors and for the officials. What happens now? Will these residents be evicted, and are some of them the beneficiaries of this plan?
Understanding their frustration, because they've been waiting for quite some time, we have a plan now that we are engaging the sub-council, and through the sub-council we have the project steering committee being part of us going forward to make sure that we keep them abreast on monthly meetings, and making sure that those qualifying beneficiaries as well will be having meetings with them every second month to make sure that they also understand the delays that we have, and making sure that those units that are available at the time, we can be able to complete those and hand them over as they are finished and they are electrified and also have running water.
What is the concern for some residents who have bought up materials and continued the building independent of the contractors? Can they continue with that work, or should all this auxiliary work on the sidelines be halted?
Well, there's nothing major that the beneficiaries who have taken over the units have bought from their part. It's just that it's minor material. But what we have done is that we're going to engage contractors and see how do we, as community and also as government, we make sure that they don't incur any losses going forward. Hence, we have decided to procure 2 additional contractors. As you can see here now, this contractor, which is Newzroom Afrika, that is doing this particular project, they are on track. And we anticipate that they'll complete this particular precinct, which is excluding Mau Mau, in the next few months. So we're hoping all our beneficiaries will be in houses by Christmas.
You mentioned that a handful of people who have moved in and taken the construction upon themselves are not beneficiaries. What is their fate? Will they be evicted and find themselves on the street again?
Well, if you are not a beneficiary, you can't jump the queue and go and hijack a building. That is not permitted. We'll have to embark on a litigation process to make sure that we get some relief from our courts, and so that the actual beneficiary can get their unit as promised by our government.
So as you mentioned, some residents can expect to be moving into new homes by Christmas. The broader housing plan in the city of Cape Town, what are some of the plans that you've got on the table to address the housing crisis in the metro?
We are on a massive land release program across the city and also in the inner city, and you'll see this coming week at council, and we're extremely excited. Myself and the executive mayor and the entire team will be unlocking the Salt River market that has been on the news for many years. Now finally we're going to hand over that particular project to the SHI that will be doing it with their Social Housing Institute. Also Pickwick, which is one of our biggest sites, that will yield more than 1,800 housing opportunities, and more than 600 of those, up to 700, will be social housing. So we're extremely excited, and also rolling out PNG units, which is normally known as RDP houses. We're rolling it out across the city. We're anticipating that we'll be rolling out more than 2,200 in this particular financial year. Also, the service sites are in motion across the city for those who don't qualify for RDP houses. And we are proud because as a Human Settlements Directorate, we have spent 97.6 of our budget, and to improve our informal settlements, 99% has been injected to our informal settlements for the betterment of our people.
Thank you very much, Mr. Malusi Boy there of the City of Cape Town's Human Settlements Directorate, Ayanda. As you heard, there are big plans to address the housing crisis here in the metro, and on this particular site there may be some involvement of the courts to evict those who are not the rightful beneficiaries, who've taken it upon themselves to move in and continue construction. But for those who are the rightful beneficiaries of these particular housing units, they can anticipate moving in and calling these properties their own by Christmas.
Yeah, an ongoing problem, this housing crisis, not only in the city of Cape Town, but certainly in other cities across the country. Natalie, Malgas, live to us there from Nyanga. Thanks very much indeed.